Cool. All right. So I have with me who is a little bit under the weather, so we're not getting
Yeah.
his full energy, but that's cool. I'm a little tired myself. And I just completed what I would call the briefest legacy call in history because you probably had four already. So legacy calls are calls where I sit down with a brother who has been through the program, and we just talk about if he's ready to move forward. And this time, as far as I'm concerned, and from everything that has changed in this brother's life, he definitely is. So I just have a few questions for you, man. Um,
All right.
First one is like, what's your history with our program? Like, how long have you struggled? Did you struggle with this before you got to the point that you're at now, where you can move on from the program?
Excuse me. Let's see. I reached out to you when I was a teenager. I don't remember how old I was, but you were doing one-on-one coaching at the time, and I we did that for I don't. Do you remember how long we did that for? Maybe a few months or something. I don't
Couple
know.
of months, maybe a little over 3, 4 months. Yeah.
Okay. And it just my impression of it was that I kind of put the blame on you that I was continuing to act out. I would act out with my girlfriend at the time, which I'm a Christian, so my belief values are wait till marriage to have sex, and my girlfriend at the time is now my wife, but um, I would act out with her, and I would masturbate. I would act out, and then I would come to you, and it just I never really made any progress in my estimation, and then we ended things there, and then I mean that I guess years later, several
Mm.
years later, because I then got married. I have a 1 year old son now, and last year I reached out to you again, and I think it's over a year ago now. Actually, probably a year and a half ago.
Mm.
I reached out to you and said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And you're like, "Yes, I do." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I was wondering if I could maybe do this again."
All right, let
And you
me
said,
let me
"Yeah."
pause you there, man. So just for clarity, so we didn't work together. On my end, it's like I can't help every client, and was younger than dude, you were so much more emotional. And so I was just like, yo, this is just not moving forward. You know what to do. Let's end things. Um, and then years later, correct, you came back. Now, were you
Yeah.
still acting out during this period?
Oh yeah, for sure. And
Okay, cool. So what prompted
I,
you coming back years later and reaching out? It takes a lot, man. I appreciate you for that because a lot of guys' ego won't let them reach out again.
yeah, so what happened was uh like I said, I had we had our son in January, and then I was acting out off and on. Um and I was trying, I was putting in effort and still just continued to act out. And the reason was I'd been hiding and lying to my wife about it. And um there came a day where essentially she approached me and said, "Hey, I know you're doing this." I forget exactly how she figured
Mhm.
it out, but women, they know, they
Mm.
know. So she figured it out, and we had a whole discussion, and um, that's what prompted me to say, "All right, let's take this seriously. It's out in the open. She already knows. She said she's willing to work through it, and um, and so then that was the decision to, all right, let's do this and save my marriage. And now I'm a new father at the time.
Mm.
So to be the father that I need to be the husband that I need to be, but also to be the Christian that I want to be and the man that I want to be. And it was you said it takes a lot of courage, but it didn't take a whole lot of courage to
Okay.
in my I felt like it was a very easy decision to reach out because of everything that had happened beforehand. So I
Gotcha.
was very, I guess, desperate at the time, and just thought, all right, I don't know what I'm doing. I give up, put my hands up. I need help. JK, can you help me?
Hmm.
And that's what prompted me to come to you.
Okay. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense when you say that you didn't need courage. It sounds like the necessity was there, and you'd gone from
Yeah,
just being this teenager to being a married man with a kid. So the stakes were definitely higher.
yeah,
Now, with everybody else, when you joined, you were in the intensive. You struggled for a little bit. We don't need to talk about that because everybody watching this knows what the struggle's like. But what do you feel are one or two things that changed when it came to your mindset, paradigm shifts in the way that you viewed yourself, your relationship, your sexual behavior that got you to where you are today?
yeah. So seeing, um, well, okay. So I remember one of our first conversations. I was talking to you about my many failures that I've had, and
Hmm.
you said, "Hey, let's not use that language. Let's not use that word failure." And excuse me, sorry.
Hmm.
So that really struck me, and that was the first time I think I was exposed to the idea of using slips as data. And as a Christian, when you when you sin, right? Like when you, and I don't know. I mean, I believe in sin, so I don't know why I did this.
Yeah.
But when you sin,
Yeah.
um, I saw that as like you're breaking the law. You're breaking God's law. Therefore, you deserve eternal conscious torment.
Hmm.
You deserve punishment. But um, and I still believe in hell. I still believe in sin. I'm a Christian, but I read uh, um, I read A Guide to Rational Living. Sorry about that. Yeah, A Guide to Rational Living, and that book it kind of changed the way that I viewed morality in the sense that I sorry, just this
It's
sickness
all
right
good,
now.
man. It's all good.
So I saw that morality is not God's law. Sinning is to miss the mark, right? And to miss the mark means you're aiming towards something, and if you miss, there's no need to beat yourself up. There's no need to have more guilt or shame than's necessary. Um, all that's needed is you look at what happened and you see, okay, how can I move forward from this, right? So I think seeing slips as data and seeing that as compatible with my Christian worldview, that was when everything just kind of took off for me. That with progress over perfection, that every day I'm making progress, even with slips, even with relapses.
Hmm.
If you relapse, a relapse is an opportunity to show you what you did wrong so you can change it. A relapse is not a horrible, instance where you just everything's horrible and I'm a horrible person. No, a relapse is, hey, that happened, huh? That there must have been a reason that happened. Let me look at what happened, and if I don't have any idea what I'm doing, and I can't see anything right off the bat, I'm gonna reach out to someone. I'm gonna say, hey, accountability partner, what do you think about this?
Hmm.
And if they're at a loss, then I can reach out to you, right? So it's one thing you mentioned was if you if you have a challenge in life, it's you need to ask questions, right? So ask how questions.
Yeah.
How can I take care of this? How can I move forward? And if you don't know the how, find out the who, right? The next question is the who. Who can
Yeah.
I talk to that can help me with the how? So, excuse me, goodness.
Dude, you're all good, man.
No,
You understand.
but
Houston,
anyways, yeah. Hope that
yeah, it
was.
sounds like you really took the principles of the program and applied them to your life, realizing that slips are data and not beating yourself up over the slips, progress over perfection, and realizing that if you do slip, yeah, you could choose. It could be, yeah, I'm a failure. Here I go again, and continue that story, or you could look at what you've learned. It's an opportunity. Okay, fine. I relapsed. Well, why did this happen? I think that speaks a lot, man, to where you are right now. And the final thing I wanted to ask is, you're still on the journey, obviously. Can you speak briefly to some of the other areas, like your financial reboot capital, for instance? I don't need to give specifics, but there are a lot of young men who are in the program who are trying to really figure their life out. And you did something different. Like you already have a vision for what you want for your family, for what you have with your son. In fact, as far back as when you were a teenager and we worked together, you knew what you wanted. You wanted a certain type of success you wanted to provide, and you didn't even have a kid, right? And at one point in this program, you were facing doubt, even doubt from those who were closest to you, as to whether you could succeed. And then something changed, and you made some steps, some moves in your life, very courageous moves that I had never seen you make. Can you talk a little bit about that? Um, how you made those changes in your life while you were in the program?
Yeah. So I think it just goes back to trusting those that are further along than I am, right?
Hmm.
So this is something that I've changed over the years. I Years ago, I wanted to have certainty in all things. I wanted to
Hmm.
know everything. I wanted to have all the information before I made a decision, and that just caused me to be paralyzed. No action. So analysis paralysis, all that stuff, and to get as much information, but information does not equal transformation. And so I just decided, all right, these people in my life, the people that are closest to me, even you, right, the mentor, right,
Hmm.
were telling me things that I didn't expect, and I had to really ask myself, okay, I mean, do I do I know more than they do? They have a different perspective than I do,
Hmm.
and I felt like I was hitting my head up against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again, and so I just had to let go of this ideal of having certainty in all things. I just had to say, all right, I'm gonna take a step of faith. I'm gonna say I'm I'm all in. I'm all in for my family. So there's no question there. I'm all in for for Jesus, right? I'm all in for my wife, for my son. That's not changing. But maybe how I go about getting to the end, that could change. And obviously what I've been doing has not been working. So I ended up um reaching out to a very, very high level performer in my business, um and completely changed my environment. Started working with him, and that did take a lot of courage, I'd say. That
Yeah.
that took a while for me to make that decision. It's like, man, this is scary because it's like if you're on a boat and you're floating, but you're not sinking, but you're not really getting anywhere. But you have to make a swim across to a boat that is moving. It's like, yeah, but I got to make that swim, and at least I'm not sinking right now. But you just have to jump off. You just have to jump off the boat and have some faith. And I'm at the very beginning of this right now.
Of course.
The decision that I made was just an initial decision, but it opened so many doors, and those doors I've just noticed the more that I just have faith, just completely go all in, and just say, all right, I give up on having certainty as far as information and making sure all the lights turn green before I pull out of the driveway.
Yeah.
Um, the lights do turn green once you once you're in the road. The doors open, so it's all about
But once you're on
action.
the highway, it's so much easier. But you just got to get to
Oh,
the highway, dude.
exactly. But it's all about action. So I think you can think about it. You can journal, and those things are good, and those things will help you kind of dissect and analyze the action that you've taken. But without action, nothing has ever been done and will ever get done again. Action is the biggest thing. Um, that's a big thing. I'm still working through and learning
Yeah, yeah.
today.
No, no, no. This I think you're doing really good, man. you're at the beginning stage, but I think a lot of brothers, they don't understand that you were at that you're beginning now, but you
Yeah,
spent many years just standing there,
yeah,
talking, getting frustrated, but you never jump. But you spent years. We would talk about it for years. And then finally you just were like, screw it, I'm gonna make the decision, right? Some brothers might be thinking, all right, so this dude is getting started in this. He's obviously going to have some challenges. And as your coach, I had those concerns. And when you reached out to me about moving forward, moving on, you did mention a few things that you had set up in your life that made you feel confident that even if you weren't in the program for a few months, that you had the support that was necessary. Let's just end this with you just letting me know some of those things that you've set up in your life. I know your relationship plays a huge role. I know your church and the fellowship you have with brothers. So tell us about that.
yeah. So my relationship with my wife has it went from me hiding and lying, um, even about non-porn related things, just there's lack of communication all around. To she is, I mean, many times she said recently that, man, I've noticed that you've changed, and our relationship is just so much better right now, and I can talk to her about anything, and she can talk to me, and so that relationship is that. I mean, I would never have dreamed. We were talking about, she was talking about divorce, you know,
Mm,
when we first started this, and now we are where we are now, and it's just amazing. And um, then I have relationships with, I mean, even my siblings, my father, just my whole family. It's like, insofar as much as it depends on me, have peace with all men,
mhm,
whatever that Bible verse is.
mhm.
And when you do that, it just gives you such joy and strength. And so my father was actually the one who suggested that I change things up in the business side of things. And
Mm,
um, but I've grown closer with him, and then I have um, my wife and I are joining a church, and they've
mm,
got so many activities to plug into, and there's good Christian men and good Christian women. Not to mention um, my father-in-law and my wife's uncle. Basically, my family, my side and my wife's side, like we're just very close. And I stopped seeing that as a, here's my family. We have to go to another dinner, another cookout. I look forward to bonding with my family and building close relationships, and we talk about serious things, and um, I can count on them for anything. Um, and then also on the financial side, the business side, I've been working with this guy for a couple months now, and I've got a couple guys that are that I'm working with, and we talk on a not on a daily basis, but it's every other day. And anytime I call, they pick up. And so any concerns I have for business,
mhm.
it's taken care of. It's just go out and do the work, essentially.
Dude, fantastic. For those of you who are listening, has is working on rather both his spiritual reboot capital with his church. He's working on the social
Yes.
reboot capital. And for those of you who are Christian, church is a great place. A lot of Christian guys will ask, like, well, where do I find new friends and where do I find you? You have a whole community there that has stuff going on. You just don't want to do stuff with them. Ask yourself, why is it that I don't want to hang out with my family? Why is it that I don't want to hang out with people from church? Like, I claim to be a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying brothers will sometimes say this, but you have a free community there that's just ready for you.
That's right.
So Houston has plugged into that socially. He's taking care of the financial reboot aspect of it. And then the emotional and mental reboot capital is there with his wife. And the reason I really wanted to interview you was because you you really emphasized the importance in your life of being honest with your wife, being open with her, and how much that has impacted you guys' relationship. So you guys have really, really come a long way. And this interview will not even do justice to the trials that y'all have been through. But either way, man, I really appreciate you taking some time
Yeah,
to share. And for the brothers out there who are just like, oh my God, I'm never gonna overcome this. I'm never going to move forward in my business. I'm never gonna go a single day without watching. He used to like slip like pretty much every day, every other day when he was a
multiple
teenager.
times a
Yeah,
day.
multiple
Yeah,
times a day, like nonstop. And some of you guys like, can I ever get to a point where I can go for months and months and months and actually feel confident that I don't need the group, no longer have that fear? What do you
yeah.
have to say?
Man, I'm so sorry about the coughing and stuff.
Oh, good, dude.
Basically, just do the work, and it's not gonna be easy. Parts of it are not gonna be fun, but just keep showing up. Keep keep you know keep having putting in those reps. Come to the weekly calls, post in the group, even when you feel like there's no one's even gonna see this. No one's gonna comment. And I post and I get like two comments, and this other guy
Yeah.
posts and he gets 15 comments, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm not. This doesn't even do anything. No, but everything is important. Just do what JK tells you to do, and um, man, I'm telling you, if you just keep showing up, put in the work, and you're gonna have a perspective shift. And I think when you see those slips and see those relapses as opportunities to learn, that you can learn from those, and um, that's where, I mean, it just starts. I don't want to say it gets fun, but it's like it almost gets fun because you just start getting so much momentum in other areas of your life, and um, it's just crazy that this behavior. I used to act out multiple times a day, and now I don't even think about it. It's just so I'm thankful for you, JK,
No, I
and everything
appreciate you,
you're doing.
man. It's been a long journey for you, but the moment you came back, I already knew. And we had a very serious heart to heart on your first call when we got in front of. That was the first time we'd ever spoke on Zoom, and you were serious about it, man. And so you
Yeah,
did what was necessary, and here you are, man. So I appreciate you. Of course, the group is always here for you, but thank you for sharing with us today, man.